What's up, buddy? How are you?
Hello and welcome. That was my bad. I pulled up the email to hit send,
Oh
and
yeah.
um, and then I didn't even put in your email address. I just let Gmail pop up, and I just hit send, and then jumped off that screen, and then looked back, and I was like, oh, I never even sent it. I didn't even put your email in.
I've done it myself many times.
Welcome to the
Sorry about
show.
earlier. I feel
Not
like a
at all.
real goon. No, what are you
No, I've done it myself. I was thinking about it. I think the worst one my wife was like, "Are comics all just flaky?" And I was like, "Yeah, I think that's why we got into it."
gonna?
How are
Mine. I mean, I'm not actually that flaky. It was just I went out and got hammered for the first time in forever to celebrate
nice.
Biden's victory. It was crazy. Sunset was like a. It was like people were dancing in the middle of sunset.
Really? Like tonight or were you out all day?
It was yeah, last night.
Oh, okay.
It was last night, and then today was just a write-off. Because it's also like this weird thing of like I don't know. I just been getting up super early since I've been back from being in Canada, and so then I was just like up at like 7 a.m. But I like all fucking hungover and shit. Just didn't do anything all day. Just like ate unhealthily.
Yep. So that was one thing I want to ask you about was what is it like as a Canadian being in another country during the election, and also are have has there ever been an election in Canada that seemed as intense or as tense as
No,
this?
I don't think in my lifetime there has been one. The Are we recording now, or are we just chatting? I
Yeah,
just meant
no,
to.
it's recording. We'll go. I'll probably
Oh,
just
okay,
cut
cool.
in right at a certain
All right,
point, but
sweet.
yeah, we're going.
I've lived a good portion of my adult life not in the country where I am a citizen. So I lived in England for 6 years, and then I lived on the road for about a year, all over, and then I've lived in America for 2 years, and it is really frustrating because you pay taxes. All of the decisions affect you, and especially when you're an immigrant or you're an expat, depending on basically if you're white, you're an expat, and everyone
Yeah.
else is an immigrant, is where that term comes from.
Yeah.
And it's really frustrating because the decisions made by politicians absolutely affect you. Donald Trump affected anyone who is not a Canadian or not an American citizen on a visceral level. The system that we had to go through, the level of scrutiny that we were put through, and all it did was affect America. Like the thing that you can be all anti-immigration and stuff like that, the West isn't having babies at the same rate. So what happens is people of any sort of skill need to go to other countries
Yeah.
and fill the population to keep jobs going and stuff like that. It's a
Yeah.
fallacy that they're coming here and not doing anything but contributing. And it's also very funny because people will talk to me about like immigration. I'm like, first of all, I'm from another country. Second of all, you can prove I'm taking someone else's job. There is a comedian not getting gigs because I'm in America. It's the
Yeah,
funniest thing.
but even that, I don't know. I've definitely worked with illegal immigrants. I've worked with legal immigrants. I've known, and it's like nobody's taking anybody's jobs. Anybody can
No.
get those jobs. You just don't want those jobs. Like they're
Yeah.
jobs
Oh, you
that you're not willing to take that somebody else is, but nobody is. I have never seen anybody being like actually in a case of if it wasn't for these Mexicans, I would have a job right now.
Yeah, like I'm a comedian. I'm in the situation of if it wasn't for these fucking stupid white men, it would have sorted out this virus, and America could be like maybe how Australia and New Zealand is right now, where they have the virus completely down because they literally sent everyone inside for
I think
4 months.
mic might be rubbing on your face a little bit or
Oh,
something.
how's that? Is that
Yeah,
better?
there you go.
There we go.
Yeah, it was just really staticky. Say that again though, because that
Yeah,
was
yeah.
a good point.
So it's just stupid old white men have affected my life and made it so I can't work. You're a comedian, you can't work because they didn't shut down the country properly. And it's one of
Yeah.
those things where, yeah, I think it's for those of you. This was recorded right when Joe Biden defeated Donald Trump in
Oh yeah,
a.
this will go up tomorrow morning.
Oh,
That's why
okay.
I
So
was like we could just put it off, but I was planning on it being the episode I post tomorrow, so I was like
oh, sweet.
if he wants to do it, fuck it, we'll do it.
Yeah,
Um
why the hell not? Yeah, it's just one of those things. No, there's a lot of jeopardy. I was also in Britain for Brexit, and I was watching the U.S. election is big all over the world. The U.S.
of course, it
is
affects
the most
fucking everywhere, yeah.
it's the most powerful country in the world. I think
I
that
kind
it's
of
going to
hate
be.
that. I like everybody who wants to keep America number one. I go, I would rather just hang in the middle where things are all right, and you're not like leading the discussion on what's going to happen in the world, and more just you can have a regular day to day life.
Yeah, it's true, but it's also what other country is going to do it. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of
Not a
countries
good one
vying
at
for
this point. Not
not a
like
good.
a
It's not
great,
going to be.
yeah,
It's either going to be Russia or China,
yeah.
and America's got huge problems. But at least, like, if Tuesday proved anything, it's that somehow democracy still works, and there are free and honest elections. That is
Yeah.
the weirdest election result ever. No one would rig it that way. You'd be, or if you did, you're the worst at rigging something in the world.
And also, I was just listening. There was a good Radio Lab, I think it was maybe. Are you familiar with that program?
I am, yes.
Yeah, it's a great one. It was either that or this other show on the media that I listened to that was talking about what it would take to throw off something by like 10,000 votes, like how many people would have to be involved in it. And then
Oh,
also
that's a great point.
and to decide which state it was going to be, because it's like everybody's like it's in Philadelphia, but up until like a little, like
It was supposed to
Wednesday
be
night,
Harrisburg.
yeah. Well, but nobody knew, like they could have thrown it. It could have been Nevada, could have been Philadelphia, could have been Georgia. Like turning any
Mm-hmm.
of those would have decided it. And it's like, but somehow they got it right in that area to be able to be there to fucking fuck with the vote.
Oh, it doesn't make any sense. And the reason why I said Harrisburg is that was where they predicted the problem. They were like, if there's going to be an issue
Oh, did somebody say that
in
beforehand?
Pennsylvania, they're like, it'll be in Harrisburg because Harrisburg, like, they look at the demographics of it all, and they're like, this is an area that's super tight and super mixed. The vote is like, what I learned this election is that Hillary Clinton was not necessarily as prepared as, say, Joe Biden was, because
No.
the Biden campaign and also Bernie Sanders months ago came forward and literally like, without saying the states, because that would have been impossible, literally was like, this is how long it's going to take. Hillary Clinton should have known Donald Trump was beating her 4 years ago, and she just evidently didn't. And
Oh
oh
no, yeah,
boy.
it was just fucking. But that's also, I think, if you dig into that more, is the fact that the at that time the Clintons themselves were like the head of the Democratic Party, where now there's who knows who's the actual like running the shots of the Democratic Party, but Joe Biden is just kind of I mean, he's their candidate they came up with, but there's other people pulling the shots as far as like where we're actually going to put money into and where we're going to
Oh yeah,
campaign
no,
into.
and it's clearly that Kamala, like, he's going to run, he's going to be there for 4 years, and then Kamala Harris is taking over.
You think
Clearly,
4?
like,
I say he makes it a month. I think I think
I mean,
I
it's one
think
of those things
he
where everyone goes like, "Oh, he has dementia." I get really angry just because I've lost two very close family members to dementia. And it's like, have none of you guys been around people with dementia? They don't stutter. Like,
yeah.
it's also, it's noticeable crazy. And they're like, "Oh no, very early on." And I'm like, early on is not long. Like, it's
Yeah.
quick. It's also, you're
No,
not able to debate.
I don't think dementia. I just think he's so old that they're like
Oh yeah.
banking on he dies sometime in the presidency and she runs anyway. Or yeah, he just steps aside and she runs for the second
Yeah,
term.
that's what I think it's going to be. I think it was 100% agree. Like, in the fact that they gave the speech together, and I think it was also significant. It's the first Asian woman, first Black woman, first female VP. So they did it both for the message. But I'm like, no, they definitely just went like, screw it. Like, this is the deal. And you know what? All the power to it. If America could have a Black female leader, that would be, I think, an amazing step in the right direction for this country. I mean, it's got
If
to be the right
not,
one.
it definitely, but also if not to just show either things get better or it shows that the whole system is flawed.
Mm.
It shows no matter who gets in there, this system we're running here is fucked up because even the person that you thought could change it didn't change it. So maybe we have to actually do something about the entire way we're
Yeah.
fucking running shit.
Well, again, the main problem with America, the American system, is it has to be bipartisan. Both sides have to be working together. And right now, it doesn't look like the Republicans want to at all.
No, no, no,
And
no.
we're going to see. The one thing, though, is, and everyone's going to count Joe Biden out on this, Joe Biden was a senator for fucking ever. And the last time they had a fucking political operative like that for a Democrat was Lyndon Baines Johnson. And he was able to get the civil rights movement passed
Yeah.
with fucking Strom Thurmond, and like guys that were actively in the KKK were congressmen and senators, and he got that through, and he didn't have the House of the Senate.
I have a
All
theory. I
right.
think hey, if I take care of this fucking JFK guy, you want to work with me? And they're like,
I mean, I
done.
think there's probably, yeah. You know, like, how about we fucking paint Dallas with a Catholic's brain, and we can give some black people some right. Well, Jesus, Lynn.
Now we're talking,
Wow.
sir.
Well, golly gee there, Lindy, you really do know how to really set me straight, my friend. All right, we'll go find a Russian. And we'll find a mealy mouth boy named Lee and have someone who owns a strip club shoot him in a car park.
What is if there is any, the greatest Canadian conspiracy?
Oh, there's a few. Justin Trudeau is Fidel Castro's son, not Pierre Trudeau's son.
Oh, I think I heard that. Was that because they think his mom fucked Fidel?
Yeah, they think Margaret fucked Fidel Castro because like, Margaret was a notorious banger. She slept with at least one member of the Rolling Stones.
Nice. Wait, which one?
Either Mick or Keith. Like it.
Okay. Okay. Great. Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Don't
it's
tell
great.
me Ronnie Wood.
Oh yeah, I think even before Ronnie Wood even got into.
Oh, okay.
Got into the band, which is pretty amazing. I'm actually looking up what are Canadian. That's a big one. There's not a lot of fun. Like there's a really sad, horrible ones like the RCMP, which is like the Mounties processed no rape kits for like 20 years or something like that. And then that one was proven correct. And that one you're just like, oh God, that's such a bummer.
And it's not even for any bigger reason. They weren't like hiding some secret cabal or money operations.
They were just like, who cares? Dan Aykroyd believes there's a ton of alien in a bunch of aliens in Canada, a bunch of alien abductions in Canada and stuff like that.
I've
but that's
heard
just
that.
Dan Aykroyd.
I think maybe the one I've heard is that the island by Detroit and like the sounds you hear there or something. What is that place?
Oh fuck! I know Echo Island or something like that.
No, I'll check this out. I've got a crack research team.
Yeah, called Google, baby. Ow, ow.
Canadian island outside of Detroit. Yeah, it was something about like horns or some shit like that comes from there. But then people thought it was aliens.
Yeah, who the fuck knows?
Where are you from in Canada? All right, great. Let's get to, this is how the show usually goes. We talk about where you grew up and where you started riding a bike. So you're from Ottawa.
I started Ottawa. I started riding a bike in McKellar Park in Ottawa, down the street from my house on Wavell Avenue. No one I know lives there now. So I think I was 4 or 5, maybe 6.
Oh, nice. Early adopter.
Yeah, like classic, not suburbs, but like leafy green street, North American. Like first thing you do, learn to ride a bike, and it's one of those things where, because where are you from?
I'm from Maine. Right? I get Canada life a lot. It's very similar. I'm from northwestern Maine too. I was only like 2 hours from Quebec. But that's very similar. Like grew up on a farm in the woods.
It's that thing of you only have the summer for a few months. So like when you're a kid, your parents are literally like, go outside, get active, get exercise. It's safe enough big streets. Like you could bike to school. You could bike, like it was a way to escape. It was transport. Like it's one of those things you look back and it's like, it's weird we let kids bike ride. Although not like less and less.
This is exactly what I have talked to so many other people on the show who didn't have this experience about, is how much a bike expands your travel, even at like 10 to 12 years old. You go from, depending on your parents, from everything to being able to at least go like 2 miles down the road, so 4 kilometers down the road, to your friend's house or something, and all of a sudden you don't have to ask to go to your friend's house anymore. You can just ride your bike there whenever you want.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where it's symbol of freedom, that sort of stuff. And then I got would always ride when I moved to university in Montreal. Always would ride there in the summers, and then I moved to Toronto, which is much more south, in 2009. And I wanted to go full time as a comedian. And the real trick to show business, which no one tells you, is if you just want to do it full time, just be really poor and you can do it full time. So that's what I
Very
did. I was
true.
just super poor, and I figured out I can spend 250, $300 on a bike and just ride it everywhere,
Yeah.
and then not pay for public transport, and then I'm
Oh,
good to
so
go.
you even went that route. I went, especially for here and when I was in Boston, was you can just take your bike on the train. And so I was like, I would go, even from here. Last year, I was headlining in San Diego. I just took my bike on the train to San Diego, and then rode my bike to the gig from the train, and then just rode back to
Oh,
the train and
funny.
took it back up here.
Were you able to find a nighttime train in San Diego? Sidebar.
Um, I did, there, I wonder, I'm not sure when I came back, because I've done it a couple times. And one time I did a weekend, and I think I came back Sunday morning, or it was like 4 a.m. Sunday morning or something. And I think I
Oh
just
shit.
stayed up. I went to a party, and I did some cocaine, and then I just rode back for like the 4
Hell
a.m.
yeah.
train back to LA.
So funny. I
I've
don't
done
really
that a
party.
bunch. I've done shows a bunch where I catch a 4 a.m. flight back out,
Oh,
and I
I've done
just
that
go do the show,
so much.
drink, and then get to the airport 2 hours before and pass out.
I don't even I don't even do it with partying. I literally have done it so many times where it's just like head back to the condo, watch a full movie, drink a cup of coffee at 3 in the morning like a serial killer, and then take
Yeah.
take a cab to the. It's so weird. It's just one of those things where I'm not poor anymore. My wife, it drives my wife crazy because it's one of those things where when you're poor, and I just had this whole thing very early on of like I just wanted to be a full time comedian, and that just involved being broke as shit for a long time. That it's
Hmm.
still ingrained in me. So there's stuff I do where it's like I don't need it. The amount of times I used to be this thing of like I could only ever to like break even on a gig. It would be like rent a car or get a hotel if you didn't get one for free. And the amount of times even recently I've just been like, well, I didn't get a hotel, so I can't, like, I gotta still get money I gotta break even on this whole thing, or more so I gotta get profit.
Yeah.
And you end up driving, like I've driven like from north of San Francisco back to LA in the same night. Like, what the fuck was I thinking?
But in my mind, I go, we've got a car. That's a hotel. You
100%.
just,
100%. And also, the best trick ever is because it's again America. One of the big benefits of America is that you can get coffee anytime. The rest of the world, Europe, they stop serving coffee after a certain hour. Like it's like,
really?
and like, yeah, because they are not, it's, again, we're from cold climate places, and that influences the rest of the country. But Maine and Canada, it's like, there are people working, like, you need hot drinks in those
Yeah.
places. So it's provided 24 hours that you can walk into a gas station and get coffee. Britain,
Also, are there
it's not.
not like, you lived in England? Are there not like truckers just constantly doing overnight trucking
There are,
and
but you have to
shit?
remember it's so much smaller. Like you
Yeah,
don't
that's true.
if you
You can
like
go
if
from
you
one side to the other in a day, right? If you
I
went
mean
straight.
if you drive like from London north 9 hours, you're in the ocean. I'm pretty sure, depending on what road you take. Like it's not. It's like it's so fucking tiny. Like it's crazy. Like
Did it
it's
feel that way coming from Canada, moving there, that all of a sudden, like, you could get to any part of it so easily compared to where you grew up in
yeah,
such
and
like vastness?
on a cheap train too. Like you
Yeah.
literally the amount of times you're just like, and they'll complain like, oh fuck, I gotta take a 4 hour train, and you're like, I mean, your 4 hour train, it's like this fucking Swift. It's so gentlemanly, and they're all like running constantly. It's the one thing that America and Canada should have done. So after World War II, Europe built all these high speed trains,
We build
and
highways.
we built highways. We
Yeah.
should have built trains.
Yeah,
That's the other thing is
absolutely.
you don't need as many trucks because a lot of it's all on rail.
Yeah, and you can carry what would be 30 trucks on one train or
Track.
even
Yeah.
more. You can have these giant fucking trains carry instead of an engine for each one of those fucking train cars.
100%. And it's also you don't need a bunch of tweaked up failures. Just let's
Those are
go find
good
ourselves.
red-blooded Americans.
I mean, I have not. Listen, I'm not a druggist. There's nothing wrong with taking speed. That's just that's an implication of your opinion. I'm just saying. Listen, I'm not much of a party animal anymore, but I had my time with these things. And if you want to stay up and drive in a straight, orderly fashion, there is products both illicit and legal that will do
Oh
that,
yeah.
and they're all just speed. It's just
Yeah.
speed.
It's just a certain, yeah, to how high you want to go, which has made me think, do they have Adderall in Canada
I don't. They must. I've heard so much
or
about this
an
drug.
equivalent?
Yeah,
Um,
I think they just
I
have Adderall.
Yeah, I mean it's Ritalin, it's all
Yeah.
those type of legal speed or whatever. But I think if Red Bull had 1 milligram of that in it, it would be even more popular than it is, but also maybe more productive.
Mm. Yeah, it's weird. I loved speed. It's my favorite thing in the entire world. Again, I have ADD and all that. No, I don't even have ADD or ADHD. I don't have any sort of attention deficit disorder, but I do have learning disabilities that kind of constantly kind of going go 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 go, and it
Yeah.
calms me sit down so much. Like I can just yeah, I find it so luxurious to the point, but like I stopped all of it because I'm
Yeah.
35 and I literally can't hack the next day. Like that, I don't know how people stay being drug addicts and alcoholics, or even like heavy drug users
For
past about
me,
28, 29. I am so
that
impressed by it.
that exactly. I'm so wait, you in 84? You were born in 84?
85.
Oh, never mind. We have nothing in common.
Of
No.
course. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
No, I'm 35. I was born December 84.
There it
Um,
is.
but I feel the exact same way. And I did in my 20s. Uh, I would do Adderall and also a bunch of other drugs all the time. But that one specifically, that or like cocaine or any kind of crazy upper. And I just feel like I, I took all of the all-nighters out of me. I think you only have
Mm.
so many all-nighters you can do, and I saw the sunrise after staying up all night all the times I can get now where it wipes me out if I ever do that now. If I ever stay up all night and I don't get sleep, where I would go the worst I went was like 4 days one time, and then I
Ugh.
saw, like, how that, like, really fucks with your fucking head. But so many times I'd be like, "I'm just gonna stay up all night, and I'm gonna do this," and then I realized, like, at about 28, 29, I was like, "I think I'm out of those. I think I ran out of them."
I love that I did all of that. I have this very lovely sense of calm where it's my mom is a university professor and she explains going to university perfectly, which is you go to university and college not to get a degree, anything like that. It's important in terms of getting any job, you just have to have it. And she made this brilliant point, which is you go so that you have this weird confidence of when people are talking about university, it gives you a shared experience with most people. Most people have that whatever it is, it puts you on equal footing. I feel that same way about partying and stuff like that. And then I'm like, I've done that. And I like the amount of times, especially you're with comics and comedy is that weird thing, especially where it's like you kind of blink and suddenly I'm more than like 14, 15 years into doing this. And it's one of those things where you're like, oh shit, I've been doing this for a lot longer than I realized. And you're with 20-year-olds and they'd be
Oh,
like, come
yeah,
on,
yeah.
let's go out. We're going to get crazy. And it's like, my friends, you go get crazy. I'm going to literally make tea in this condo where a bunch of dudes in leather jackets have fucked sad people. And then I'm going to get up and go find a breakfast burrito in this town.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm going to do.
Yeah, that is also part of, like, I even see that now at the Comedy Store. I've hung out there in the past couple years plenty of times late at night, and but just realized after a certain point, I was like, I don't need to be here. I don't like,
Nice.
I come, hang out for a minute, talk to people, but like in no way do I need to stay if there's no reason. If you're not doing a set, there's no reason to stay. And you hear about fun times that are happened at here or there, or we all hung out, and then you realize that will always happen. There will
Yeah.
always be those things going on, and you can also just go home, and it doesn't fucking matter if you were there or you weren't there.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with everything you're saying. And it's the funny thing
That's why
of
I had you on the show. Thank you.
goddamn right. But yeah, back to, because this is about bike riding, right? So, but back to biking.
It
So yeah,
is. We always talk about biking, but it always goes
of
different ways. That's
course,
the
it'd be
fun thing
such a,
about biking is it can bring up so many different things from like I've had discussions about homelessness, discussions about
mm,
traffic, discussions about how fathers never taught their kids how to ride bikes and what kind of
that's,
dads they were.
that's great.
But go
Yeah.
on.
So
What were you
who
saying?
taught, my mom taught me how to ride. But it's one of those things where I was biking in Toronto for 3 years solidly every day. And it was a time when that city declared a war on cyclists. So the
How
mayor who
so?
got
What'd
caught,
they do?
so the mayor who got caught smoking crack, Rob Ford,
Big
if you
fan.
remember
Big
him,
fan. Yeah.
big
Yeah.
fan, great
Yeah.
guy, great. Yeah, so glad that he died. Real big fan of his death. Super
R.I.P.
fun.
Bobby Ford.
Yeah.
Jesus
Oh
Christ.
yeah, the mic arm broke, baby. Oh,
It
I've done
did.
that
Yeah.
too. I want to say, by the way, you sold it really well. Of like, oh, it's fine. That was supposed to happen.
Yeah. No, I'm professional.
Yeah, right. Um,
No, it was the
so
this part slipped off the table.
for fuck's sake, I find, by the way, I have one of those too for my Twitch streaming. Hello.
Where's that at? Tell people now, so because if they don't make it to the end of the episode.
John Hastings Comedy on Twitch. Please come join along. This Thursday, I'm going to do 8 hours. I've decided I'm going to do an 8-hour Twitch stream this Thursday. So if this is coming out tomorrow. So this week, if you're hearing it this week, the week of the
It'll be
9th,
Thursday the 12th.
Thursday the 12th, 12/9, baby. 12.
And
No,
what are you
that's not how that
playing?
works. Grand Theft Auto San
Here it'll be
Andreas.
12/11 or 11/12.
Yeah, it's 12/11. 11/12. It's Grand Theft Auto San Andreas.
Oh, nice. That's a fun one. I
Playthrough,
played that a
baby.
little bit. I'm not a big video game player, but I've lived with a lot of them, and that was a guy I lived with had that one.
And you're familiar with what Twitch is?
Oh yeah,
it's
yeah.
yeah.
It's
Way more
fun.
fun than have you done it? It's way more fun than I thought it was going to be. I thought I was going to hate it. I quite enjoy it.
I have done somebody else's show on Twitch where I was a guest on it, and it was, but it was like they were taking live questions and stuff, and it was fun in that way. But in no way did I want to do it. But the thing is, the games that I've played, that I've been really into are like Madden, FIFA, and Skate. Pretty much are the only games that I really got
Ooh.
into.
Like Tony Hawk Skate, or just
Well, Skate was there was Tony Hawk Pro Skater, and then there was a game called Skate, and that was the first one that really used the double thumb joystick to really mimic skateboarding. So you would have to like you'd like pop with your back thumb and then like flick the tricks or do like a shove it or a kickflip or something with your front thumb. So it was totally like using your thumbs as they were your feet on the board.
Fuck. Yeah. Tony Hawk supposedly for that video game when it came out, it was such a success. He just got a check in for like 1/4 of royalties for $1 million.
Yeah.
Like the
I heard
royalty
him
company.
tell that story, I think, and I think that was the first of many, many fucking checks.
Oh yeah, that game was fucking everywhere. But yeah, so Rob Ford in Toronto declared war on cyclists. Said it was a huge problem. They were affecting traffic.
Thank you for
And I only
getting
remember
back
this
to it. I
because
forgot.
it's only because basically what happened was he ripped up all of the bike lanes in the downtown core of this massive city. They had just installed a bike network. So they had just installed, like LA has, which no one actually knows about, is LA has certain roads that are widened for cyclists.
Yeah.
You're supposed to use that. If you use Google Maps, it will take you on a weird route, and you realize those are the roads that have lights, and those are the roads that are wide enough for cyclists, and do stick to them. if you're ever
Yes, but
heading
even
west,
some of those in LA aren't great. There are roads that where it's like technically like they don't have protected bike lanes everywhere. Some places do, some places don't.
yeah, they
Um, but is this what you're talking about in Toronto? Is that they had a network of like real bike lanes or just like you know?
protected bike lanes with
Oh no
a
shit.
barrier. They ripped them all up. Then there were a shitload of deaths, and the mayor is literally making jokes about it. It was a whole thing because the thing was, this was still the end of, and there still is a fair amount of bike couriers still that exist, especially in a city that has a downtown like Toronto, where there's law offices and all that shit, where it's basically just documents going back and forth from offices really quickly. But people were getting fucked up, and then cyclists started attacking motorists. It was this whole thing. It was so fucking crazy.
So they fought
Uh,
back.
they fought back. A friend of mine
Nice.
saw um, a guy in a BMW cut off and flip off a cyclist or like a bike messenger. Bike messenger took his helmet off and waited for right before a red light was going to go green, and knocked the guy's wing mirror off, and then disappeared into an alley. And the guy like was fucked. Like, what the fuck was he gonna do? And he was like, it was super justified. The guy nearly killed the bike messenger.
A biker did this. Now, have you ever enacted retribution? Because I have. I have my tactics.
I have never enacted retribution in that. I always go psychological. I think the big thing is this move, which is you look someone directly in the face and you give them a soft, slow golf clap like that. I've done
That's
that.
not bad. I
Uh,
do I spit on the back of the car.
that's a good one. I also am just a big fan of the decisive, like a big finger or screaming "fuck you" at someone.
Okay, I'll tell you here for LA, maybe not the best choice because here's the weird thing about here
LA,
is you wouldn't.
I wouldn't do it in LA. No, I
Yeah,
wouldn't do it in America because people have guns.
exactly. That's what I was gonna say. You never know who has a fucking gun. Um, but there is the opportunity for things like that's where I came up with spitting on the back of it. If I can hawk a
Mhm.
good loogie on the
Oh,
back of it,
lovely stuff.
that is
Take it.
great. Also, if you can go more so if you're in heavy traffic because there are plenty of times like if you're going down, which pretty much should have its own bike lane, is the streets of Hollywood from like Silver Lake, Los Feliz to West Hollywood. They are all just straight and parallel, and there's no
Yeah.
reason there shouldn't be an actual bike lane along one of all of those streets to go like that 5 miles. You should just be able to bike that so easy, but there's not. Um, but if you're in rush hour there, you know that you're going to go faster than all of the traffic. You're just going to
Oh my
constantly,
God.
yeah.
You get on a fountain during rush hour, and you can literally get across town in more than half the time it would take for a car.
It would no, you get across the town in the time it would take a car to get across town if there was zero traffic
Yes. Thank you very
and
much.
still the lights. Like that's what it
Yeah.
like because you can never go any more than 25 to 30 miles an hour, which you can do on a bike, and you're just not adhered by traffic at all.
Yeah. It's spectacular. I have never done the fuck you in LA. I have, and I've done this everywhere, which is I've legitimately questioned someone at a red light. In LA, it's easier because people have their windows down. My personal favorite was a guy nearly fucking hit me, and I knocked on his window and went, What were you doing there?" And he was like, "That's your fault. You were in the way. You're not supposed to be on this road." And I was like, "No, that's not true. Like, you were just weren't paying attention. You got to pay attention. You could have killed me." And he's like, "You have your headphones in. You're not wearing a helmet." And I'm like, "Okay, but that's not part of the problem. The problem is that you weren't paying attention,
Yeah.
and you nearly just drove into me."
But that is he had no good point. His point was like you were having unsafe sex and you're like, "Yeah, but you raped me."
Yeah,
Um
that's the thing. These are two different. It's even worse. Yeah, it's even more of an equivalency of you stabbed me. Like, it's not even in the
yeah.
sexual word. You had unsafe sex. Yeah, you stabbed someone. That's not even anything to do. Why are you bringing up sex at all?
I just meant he was saying like you didn't
Yeah,
protect yourself, and
yeah, from
but
me
yeah, I get what
raping
you're
you.
saying. But that is why I ride in LA, especially. But I what made me think this was I got hit on my bike by a car in Portland, Maine, when I was like 19, and then I ever since then I have ridden in this way of I never leave it up to them. I never assume they know I have the right of way. I never assume anybody can even
Never,
see me at all.
never. And I've been hit twice. One time was my fault. I literally turned in front of a car, and I had a guitar on my back, and the guitar absorbed most of the blow. It was amazing.
Did it
Um,
survive? Do you still have the guitar?
yeah, it was like a 1950s, like old school, thick electric guitar,
An electric in a hard case or soft case?
soft case,
Ooh.
and, and it survived. Like the electronics of it, like the pickups are cracked a bit and stuff like that. But this is the only way I can imagine it worked out. Like, because people saw, like friends of me saw it happen, and they're literally like, you. It was literally like I basically I was biking next to a car. I turned left in front of the car, and the car's inertia I then just went over. I rolled over the hood and was
With the
fine.
bike, or did the bike go under the car?
Bike flew to the side.
Okay. And you just
Uh,
rolled right over. Now, this is an important question. Did you really need to have the guitar with you? Are you a good guitar player?
I was good at the time. Yes, thank
Okay.
God.
Okay.
I haven't played in a long time. And then the other time was I just got hit by a car in London at the end of 2017, which is why my elbow looks like that now, as that fucking
Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
fun scar and sack of fluid there. And that was
Did you
more than
break the
likely,
elbow?
I did break the elbow pretty
Ooh.
spectacularly. Um,
How
National
so?
Health
Did you
Service.
come down on it?
So I car turned and went into my back tire, turned into my back tire, and then so I flipped, landed right on the road with my elbow. And it's basically your elbow has a tiny bone hook in it,
Yeah.
and it shattered that and sent all of the muscles up into my arm.
Oh.
But I was in shock so quickly that they didn't know it was broken. Like it was still like I was in the hospital like moving it, and they're
Yeah.
like, this doesn't seem like it's broken, but it should be broken. Then they took an x-ray and they were like, oh shit,
It's
yeah, no, that's broken. Like to the point that they would have given me surgery that day, but I was too swollen. Like they're like, we have to wait 5 days for
let
the
it go
swelling to come
down.
down, and then we
Yeah.
can give you surgery. And I just would like to take this moment, by the way, to say that cost me literally nothing, because I was in a country with free healthcare, and by free I mean national healthcare for everyone.
So that's what that was I'm glad we got back around to this. What I was wondering about going to England, working as a comic, living there as a Canadian and
Yep.
in England. How do the laws work in that way compared to coming to America and how you're treated? Because you're part of the Commonwealth, and does that mean anything?
Yes, it does. So you get a visa for $250, and you got to prove you have $2,500 of your national currency in an account. So it
Oh,
basically
so you
means,
have to save up for a vacation, and then they just let you go.
yeah, you have to basically prove that you could for 4 months be okay, and then you can go live there for 2 years,
So the
which
visa is
is
2 years.
2 years. And I did that, and then I started getting performers visas that now don't exist because of Brexit. They canceled that type of visa. Um, I kept getting those every year until I left in end of 2017.
And but I guess what was I going to say? So you living wise, like what are you paying for taxes?
30%?
And you're paying it to them, and do you have to pay Canadian taxes at the same time?
No, I did, because the Canadian government's a bag of shit and refused to not recognize my residency, and I got into a huge tax ding dong with them. And then I eventually was able to get myself out from under it, and then they paid me back the money owed, but it was a fucking nightmare.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, it's the interesting thing um, about just being a comedian that's traveled a lot is you would never think that you would end up knowing so much about immigration and tax law, but good Lord, do I.
Oh yeah, and no, I realized that the one place I've actually played outside of the U.S. was the Bahamas. They have a
Oh,
Joker's Wild
wonderful.
in the Bahamas. It's no better than a cruise ship. It is basically
I
a cruise
mean,
ship.
it is, yeah, of course, but everywhere, every comedy, like everyone's like, oh, that comedy club's really good. That comedy club's meh. And I'm like, they're all kind of the same. Like, it is there a creep working there? Yes. Is there like a cool? Yeah. Like they're all like it's fine.
No, there, yes and no, because there are ones that that may be true about the club itself, but at least the city you're in is
Super
more
fun. Yeah.
fun to hang out in than, like Denver. Comedy Works is great. I met a couple guys there that maybe I didn't care for. Who knows if they're still working there or not? And so you'd go that night and do the show and be like, I got to talk to this fucking guy. But
Mhm.
it was fun, and the city is great. Where Albany Funny Bone, um, the guy who was the manager, who he actually got fired for this, or not this with us, but apparently he was doing it all the time. As soon as the show was over, he would pull down a screen and we drank and smoked and played video games on the giant screen in the club until like 3 in the morning.
Hell yeah.
And Albany sucks as a fucking town to hang out in. There's nothing fun to do in Albany,
Yes.
but
I'm not
knowing,
surprised by this.
yeah, but knowing that you're going to do that at the club, it was a
Yeah, it's really fun.
blast.
Yeah, that sounds sick, man. All of the funny bones seem to be like you're in like you're in like fucking like Schenectady, but like they're all fun. Like they're run by fun people. It seems.
It is. I have found that I've only done a few in the Northeast there, but it is people who are into comedy end up working there, and so they like it, they want to have fun, but they are in shitty places. Usually it's a movie theater that went out of business in a mall.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, so
That's
like
so big.
they're huge, yeah, and like big type ceilings and stuff, and it's in a depressing place. You're going out to like the mall outside of town or something. You're not even in the downtown. Even if the downtown's not great there, you're still not in it. You're like in a mall that's somewhere outside of it.
Oh
Um,
no.
but the people I have found, those are some of the more fun, like staff people you'll hang out with. And then in cooler towns, Denver, um, mm, there's no real comedy club in New Orleans, but New Orleans is fun as fuck to do comedy in.
Man, I want to do. I just want to go to New Orleans.
It's great. You will have a blast, and there are some really great shows. But I felt this was, if I lived here, I would die.
Yeah, 100%. Same way I couldn't. There's a weird thing of like this is too much fun and too much like the city I'd want to live in.
Yeah.
Like it's
Well,
a
and what's
haunted Louisiana place. It sounds fucking phenomenal.
And what's great about there too is everybody has that party mentality. It's like island life. I don't. Are there any
Which just
even
sounds
in
like Europe.
Maine?
Like Europe
Yeah, a
has
little
that
bit.
vibe of like why wouldn't we get fucked up? And you're like, oh yeah, good point, I guess. I'm literally looking. So is there no comedy clubs in New Orleans at all?
No, no, no. It's all independent shows and shit. And there's theaters that bigger people will play, but there's no full time comedy club. They don't need it. They don't have to do it. People are out every single night at every single bar. Then no way do they need comedy. But people put on independent shows that are great. And there's been some long running independent shows that are really great to do. But it would be like, why bother booking comedians when I can just open a bar and people will come
Yeah,
because it's New Orleans?
yeah. Yeah. So then one of those things where it's like we could have a comedy club, or we could just have a place where people come have mint juleps and delicious food.
And that's all. They don't even have to do the food. Depending on where you're on in town, you don't even have to do the food. You can just have a cool bar, and people will come because that's all. That is the tourism there, is go out to a bar.
That sounds great.
It's so fun. It is so
Man,
fun.
I just want
Every
to go to New
single night.
Orleans right now.
So I rode my bike there, not there to there, but we were living in the bus thing. I think I was telling you about. And
Yeah,
did I tell you about that?
I think so. You lived in a bus?
Yeah, we converted a bus for a year and lived in it, but we're in New Orleans, my wife and I, for a week, and had it parked at a friend of ours' house that was probably 5 miles outside of New Orleans. And I would just ride my bike along the Mississippi River into town and do 2 to 3 spots a night, and then end up being out until 4 in the morning. And every single morning, you would just go like, "Oh wait, what time is it? 4? Fuck!" Nobody tells you to leave the bar. You're just there hanging out, having fun. Nobody leaves the bar. Everybody has fun. And then you go out during the day and it's like this island life where just like people are like, yeah, we're all hungover. We get it. Everybody moves slower and shit here. Like, because we
Yeah,
all know like what happens.
everyone has a beignet. I'm still trying to figure
Yeah,
out what the fuck they are. Is it just fried dough?
basically, yeah. It's
Oh,
fried dough with a little lemon zest added to it.
sounds delicious.
Oh, they're very good. All the food is great. It's a wonderful town, but I realized that I would a week
Die.
was great. Any more than that, I would be like, I would be out every single night. I don't need to do
Where
that.
did you guys bike? Did you literally bus down from Maine all the way to LA and then you ended up here?
We did we did a year on the bus. We went from Maine down down the eastern seaboard to Key West, and then through the south and the southwest, and then up the west coast, and then into the Rockies and into Colorado, Utah, and then curl back around back to LA. But
Fuck.
we pretty much we left in September, went all the way down to Key West over a few months, and then just stayed south all winter. And then as spring hit, went back up the west coast, and for the summer hit the Montana, Wyoming, Colorado, all that shit, and then ended up back in LA, and decided about halfway through that we were going to move to LA. So we're like, all right, as we're finishing up here, let's just go wind back to LA.
And what did you do with a converted bus? Did you guys sell it or is it just like you just set it on fire and in the
Yeah, no, we
hills?
and just pushed it off a cliff up in Temecula. No, we sold it. We sold it actually on like March 6th, right before any COVID lockdown, which was super lucky because I feel like nobody would have come to look at a bus or anything.
Wait, so you
Um,
only moved to LA end of March or beginning of March, like lockdown
no,
time?
no, no. We had it. We've been here a little over 2 years now, and we
Oh,
were
okay.
just paying for a parking space. And we were
Oh, fuck.
wanting to work on it and shit, and then after a while we are like, we could just use the money. Even if we do something like that again, we'll do it in a different vehicle. We can get rid of this giant bus. And so we sold it just right at the beginning of lockdown.
So what kind of bus was it? I don't know how much you've talked about this on the show. I'm utterly fascinated. Was it like a school bus or was it a
Yeah, it was a here I was about to share the screen anyway. This is a great topic, and then we'll go to the videos after this. um so it
Ooh.
It was a 19-foot school bus that I, in about 6 weeks, completely converted into a tiny home in the back of it.
Fuck yeah.
Here we go. All right. Share. Are you looking on a computer or your phone?
Computer.
Okay, great. It'll look a little better. It's stuff might be jumpy. We got a few videos to show you to wrap up,
All right, sweet.
and those are always fun. But first, I'll show you the bus here. So this is our Instagram page for the bus, but this is what the bus looked like on the outside.
Oh, your classic short bus with a cute dog.
Yep, yep, that's Momo. But yeah, it was 19 footer. I think it was 4 windows there, and let's see if we can
Hey,
find a good inside the shot. So we had a full so like this is the bedroom in the back. That was the
wow.
bed. And then we had like this is a cabinet and the fridge. And then right here coming forward was a couch that was all storage underneath. And then over on this side was a kitchen. And then we had a little bathroom in there too.
That's amazing. I assume the bathroom was last resorts, of course, and it was just like, don't.
No, not really. I mean, we didn't try to use it all the time, but it was a composting toilet, and we just had to empty it. It separated. All right, great. Here's a good picture of everything in it.
Oh, this thing's
So yeah, that's
beautiful.
building it. Yeah, that was. Oh, this is the whole construction thing. We even have a tent. So this right here was we had a hot water heater that hooked up to the water, and then hooked up to the propane that we had on the back, and then we had a little tent so we could have an outdoor shower.
Oh, hell yeah.
But yeah, no, it was a composting toilet. I think there might actually be. Well, we can scroll down real quick. Oh yeah, that's the upper close to the tent and stuff. Um, it separated the pee and the shits, the dookies,
Mm.
and the shit would go into you would put it was coconut tree pulp
Oh,
uh, that you would fill this tank about halfway with, and then if you take a shit, there was an arm on the side that you turn, and it would fucking rotate it all, and that stuff, that coconut tree pulp, you never smelled anything. It absorbed
amazing.
every single part of it. You didn't even when I would about every month or so, because we weren't fucking dropping deuces in there every day, but yeah, when we
Yeah.
needed to. And then the pee on the front was a jug that was separated from that, and you would just kind of lift the seat up a little bit, and you could take it out. And you're supposed to put it in toilets and shit, but half the time we would just stop on the side of the road, and I'd fucking dump the dump the
Yeah.
pee thing. All right. Oh,
It's
this is a
amazing.
good. It's
Man,
gonna be a little.
I want one of
So
these.
this is like a little panorama, but here's the bed, and then this was the kitchen area, and
Hmm.
then the little bathroom over there, and then that was up front to where I drive and shit.
I mean, and so what was the longest? Did you guys? I assume you like drive to one place. Where would you like? Did you stay in any one place a lot of the time, or you sort of like max a week and then keep on keeping on?
It was pretty much a week every place, and then Austin we stayed for 2.5 weeks. LA we stayed for 2 weeks, and Seattle we stayed for 2 weeks. But even in Seattle, we stayed a week, and I did a week of shows, and then we went out to the Olympic Peninsula or Olympic National Park that's out there. That's fucking amazing. Went out there for the weekend, and then I went back and did another week of shows. But everywhere, we hit a bunch of like comedy scenes, and then we would go to national parks and stuff in between. But everywhere was about a week we would stay.
That's great. Oh my god, that's amazing.
It was
And the,
it was an amazing experience.
and let me and I assume the bus now has a good home.
I don't know. I the guy I sold it to, the guy I sold it to, I really liked him. He was a young kid who was planning on going with two of his friends to camp for the summer up in the Rockies, and then he was a snowboarder, and they wanted to do a bunch of snowboard trips. And I was like, that's great. That sounds exactly what it should do. Like I
Yeah,
grew up fucking competing in skiing, and I love that you're doing it, but I have no idea who that guy is and what ended up happening to it. I hope to see it again someday. What it made me realize was I thought the bus was part of my life, and I realized I was part of that bus's life.
I see what you're saying. Like it needs to go off and live its funky, weird adventure.
It's going to be somebody else's story too. Like I thought it was just part of my story, and it turns out it's going to be somebody else's. Like they're going to have a year with that thing that'll change their life.
I wonder, is it hard to find converted buses?
I
I'm
mean,
like
yeah,
right now.
we got that. It was just all straight, had seats in it still, and we completely stripped it out and built all that in it. It's becoming more popular now in the past couple of years, and I would say it's still pretty much like the best way to go about it is to buy a bus and convert it yourself. There's a few people selling actual converted ones, but if you're talking money wise, it's way cheaper to convert it yourself than it is for what the prices they have for fully converted ones.
That's true. Although you could just buy a used 1988 Eagle bus for for 16 grand. It's,
We got our bus for 4. It was 4
yeah,
grand.
and then I assume what the construction of all that was like.
It was about 7 for the
Yeah,
entire construction, and that the most expensive piece in it was the composting toilet, was about $1,000, and then
yeah.
everything else was more than that, but like no single piece was more than the fucking toilet, and it was the best thing because it was like if there's anything, it's you don't want to smell shit on a bus.
No, and also it's nice to just every once in a while to be like, oh, I can just like, oh, we're in the middle of a national park. I don't need to do like if it's carry out, we're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, so we have 3 videos I show everybody on the show. How do you like fail videos?
I like them a lot. I
Okay,
like them
great.
a lot. Is it a
You're gonna
video
like it.
podcast or is it an audio podcast?
Well, I put it up on YouTube, but I
Mm,
would say a majority of people just listen to it. But I think everybody
sick.
that listens to it has gone and seen the videos, so they hear the audio and they know which video you're watching.
Cool. I just
Um,
realized I was like, oh, I have a very uninteresting background because I thought it was
no,
audio only, but
there's only a
okay,
few weird people that watch every single one on YouTube,
I
and
mean, I'm
even
gonna
in
be honest.
even that, I've found like there are certain people that have like followings that have done the podcast that definitely like spike the numbers where you go like they have weird creepy people who follow them and will just watch everything
Oh
that they
yeah,
do.
my
All
people.
right. Did you ski or snowboard growing up?
I did a little bit of skiing. I was never a fan of it. Like I
Oh,
enjoyed
really?
it, but it was one of those things where I was kind of like, all right, I got it.
Okay, interesting.
I was
um
always more of a summer like woodsy like biking. I love mountain biking, hiking, canoeing, those sort
yeah.
of things. I like skating a lot. I could give a fuck about playing hockey. I weirdly love skating. I don't know, like,
Did you have like ponds or rivers that you
yeah,
could skate?
every park in Canada, they literally freeze over and put a skating rink in because you
Oh,
have to.
nice.
It's 6 months of the fucking year. Like,
Yeah.
it's that thing of you. I look back as a kid and I'm like, oh, there's huge parts of this population where it's like you don't have like Canada's a, and I'm sure Maine is like this. Is like you have distinctive wardrobes for each season.
Oh, very much. Yeah.
Like LA is so funny where people are like, oh, it's getting to be winter, and I'm like, oh,
A
you mean where
jacket.
you, yeah, you mean where you wear a hoodie, maybe?
Yeah. No, right
Yeah,
now is probably the coldest you will see it here. Like this, I mean, it
yeah,
might be this cold again, but this temperature is as cold as it gets.
and it'll rain a bit in January.
Yeah, maybe. If we're lucky.
Yeah, it's fucking great. Oh, it's fucking great.
All
I
right, here we
was
have
just ready to come out and
this is
start
Tanner
filming.
Hall. It's very
I just
important
wanted to
that
get
you
one
hear
more in
this
so I
too.
can, just be ready.
Oh no, Chad.
Ow! Broke! My ankles are broken! My ankles are broke!
His ankles are broken!
I got broken ankles!
He's coming for
Just didn't go fast enough. Sucks.
No, it's just called
Right when I took off, I knew something was coming.
Chad's Gap. The skier is Tanner Hall, but
Yeah,
the name of the jump is Chad's Gap. But it's the screaming, "My ankles are broken! My ankles are broken! I
I
got
mean,
broken ankle."
it's that thing of all snowboarders and skiers and skateboarders and rollerbladers. I've yet to see any of them handle. Pardon me for yawning. Handle
Oh,
an
thank you.
injury well. Like they all just always are like,
Yeah, it's
oh,
traumatic. What I
oh yeah,
loved about it though is the second guy who yells his ankles are broken.
yeah. I also like that no one's rushing out to help him. That's the other thing. It's also like, is someone coming up behind him?
No, I mean everybody's easily like a ways away. It's a cameraman who's a ways away. That next skier was up where he started the jump
Ah,
from.
poor
So even if he's
bastards.
gonna get to him, he has to ski down to it. Yeah, it's rough.
Oh yeah, this doesn't seem like a real kiss.
All right, this one funny for a different reason.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Have you? You might have seen this one if you're a follower of X Games or anything.
Oh, wait.
That is 720. Oh, he's
Oh.
kidding me. Oh my God.
Ooh.
Oh man, that
I
was
had
the
seen that one.
funniest slam we've
Yeah.
ever seen.
Do you remember what makes it so hilarious?
No.
Wow, I can't believe
So we got to skip ahead to they wait to make sure he's not dead.
He's just
Right
We'll
here.
see here.
He's trying to adjust his
trying to
body.
adjust his feet and is trying to get his board back, and he
forward.
just, there it goes.
Oh, you saw his board go squarely up the
He's
wall.
15 feet up, and he just fell.
Oh.
Another.
Oh,
Shoes.
man, that was
Both of his
Yeah.
shoes go shooting
Oh.
up.
That's the worst.
Is this
I
also
mean-
the one? Because there's another one. Is this the one where Jason Ellis like runs on?
His shoes.
I don't think it
Did you
is.
see that?
There's another crazy wipeout where Jason Ellis and someone else literally like just are so bewildered they just start walking onto the ramp. Like, what the fuck was that?
Oh no, I got to look up. I'm gonna have to look that one up because I have shown these for about 20 or 30 episodes now, and I need new videos, so I got to check that out.
You also do you know why the X Games were started? This is my funnest fact.
Malcolm X, I think, started them.
It was Malcolm X. Yeah. Malcolm X's dying wish was he's like, I need a
I
bunch
need
of
white people to try and kill themselves.
We really needed to fucking I want to get me Tony Hawk, the man with the weirdly most boring voice. ESPN needed content for ESPN2, so they invented them. That's where the X
Really?
Games came. Yeah.
I did not. I've competed in Winter X Games before.
Oh, shit.
I had no idea of that. Yeah, I knew when it started. I remember like the first Winter X Games and even the first Summer X Games and some of the crazy sports they've had in them that no longer exist. And it's actually become now they are considered World Cup qualifiers for the Olympics.
The X
Like
Games?
Yeah, the X Games are. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because skateboarding and that stuff like that is in the Olympics now.
Skateboarding would have been the first year in 2020
Yeah.
that it was actually in the Olympics. It was a trial sport in Rio, but snowboarding and skiing and I think rock climbing were all sports that came from X Games and ended up in the Olympics.
I mean, it's fucking insane that ballroom dancing is in it and skateboarding isn't. Like, because that's one of the things
Oh,
where
yeah.
skateboarding absolutely takes a shitload of skill. It would be an amazing event to watch.
And compared to if you have figure skating in and you're not going to have skateboarding in, like what are you fucking
Yeah.
talking about?
I mean, watch yourself. I am Canadian. We put figure skating is on most television. It's on most Saturdays on television in Canada. It's the weirdest
But
thing. Where
that's what I'm saying is if you're into that, it's basically watching a street run on skateboarding is summer
Yeah.
figure skating. It's twirls, it spins, it slides, it's fucking triple sow cows like on an enclosed course. Why wouldn't you have that in the summer games if people love it in the winter games?
100%. Also, that guy Jake. That was Jake Brown? Is that who that guy was?
Jake Brown, yeah, he's Australian.
What was his injuries from that?
I think he oddly didn't do anything to his feet. Even though his shoes flew off. I
boy.
think he broke his pelvis and had like a severe concussion.
Fuck.
Yeah, I think the worst thing was like his feet kind of slipped out and then he nailed on his ass and I think he cracked his pelvis.
Did he skate after that? Did he ever compete
He
again?
did, yeah. No, he made it back. Yeah, all these guys. Tanner, the first guy, has made it back. And now this is the third one. This is a different kind of video because we got to jump back here.
Oh.
Do you
Matt
know
Hoffman.
this?
No, but Matt Hoffman, he's the Birth of Big Air guy. Like he's the guy that.
Yeah. So this falls into a different category. We'll see if you can figure out what it is. So it's Matt Hoffman and Des McCoy practicing doubles, half pipe. Oh, for some reason, this one has been jumping around, but let's see if it works.
I think I know what's gonna happen.
Hang on, I'm gonna pause it for a sec just to let it catch up.
Oh, see you now, fuckos. Oh, that sucked.
But here's the category it falls into is nobody's there to turn off the camera. It's only the two of them.
My favorite, by the way, is that like the one guy who's not nearly as hurt having to do the check on the other guy.
Yeah. Yeah, how much do you think he's feigning it? I think he got something happened to it, but when you see what happened to the other guy, which I don't know, how are you with gore?
I'm all right.
Okay. Well, then you meet about half the people on the podcast who are willing to look at this. It goes about, I think, 7-8 minutes or something.
They are fucked up. Like you could tell when they roll over. Oh no!
When I collided with Matt, my handlebars turned sideways. He punched me in the groin, just to the right of my junk.
Oh no!
I didn't realize it at the time, but my plastic bar end had collapsed, and the metal tubing sliced through me like a cookie cutter. Went through my shirt, through my pants, and cut a foot-long gash into my body, which exposed my femoral artery. The doctor told me that if it had been a quarter-inch deeper, I would have bled out on the bottom of the ramp.
God fucking
As my bar end passed through me, it shredded up muscle tissue, broke off the tip of my pelvis.
This is definitely, I think, the worst out of all the
which
videos.
Completely detached 3 muscles from my body.
It fucked him
The tensor fascial lati, or TFL.
Holy shit!
The sartorius, which is the longest muscle in the body.
And he probably didn't have health care. To bring us back to what we were talking about before, he is a professional cyclist who probably did not have health care.
At least he has a pre-existing condition of being a moron.
Being a badass is what I
Goddamn
call it.
right. Yeah, his penis is too big. That's the issue. Keep thinking it's a tumor. Just his giant cock. Jesus fucking Christ. This is the other thing with extreme sports is the injuries are never like, oh, he tore his ACL. It's like, oh, he landed the wrong way and his spleen is now a gun and it shot him. Like, it's just like, fuck me. Like,
even that's what took me out of competing is I blew my ACL, but at the same time, I also took a chunk of cartilage off the bottom of my knee. I tore my meniscus. Like, the ACL was the longest lasting thing, but it was such a big fucking impact that like it fucked the knee up altogether. And that was just the worst of the thing, but like 7 other things happened.
Fuck yeah, there's a bunch of those things where it's just like all the crazy, like there's a bunch of the like skateboarders that all have just like now micro fractures in their legs and shit like that. Like all these like wait, what? And they're like, yeah, it's just, that's just what it is. And you're like, good God.
I would like to do a documentary on like where is the first class of skateboarding now? How many are dead? How many like have fucking can't move? How many are addicted to fucking pills? And it's nobody thought of it.
Tony Hawk seems fine, although he's not even first class. Like all of the Z boys are dead.
I think Tony Alva's still alive.
All right, because they're the first sort of wave.
Yeah. But I would say, yeah, even at Tony Hawk's level, like how many people he's thriving, how many other people are not at all?
No, because it was like Tony Hawk, the long-haired guy whose name I can never remember. There's a bunch of Jason Ellis, but Jason Ellis wasn't even really that good. He was just more controversial and became famous later because he got a radio show.
But even he was like 10 years into Tony Hawk's career because of how young Tony Hawk started. Like Jason Ellis came around when Tony Hawk was in his 20s, but Tony Hawk was started in the 80s when he was like 16.
Yeah, like because he's one of those guys that's really fucked over a lot of skateboarders in that they're like, oh, I'll just quit high school, and you're like, no, that guy was the best, and he was also the best for like 25 years.
But he was also marketable too, which has made him extremely successful because there have been other skateboarders that have come along that he has competed against and won or lost to that were better skaters, but in no way were a skater that a brand could sell.
That's weird because he's just a fucking dial tone of a human being, really.
Exactly. And it's the only way to sell skateboarding to suburban moms is with Tony Hawk's face.
Hi, it's me, Tony. He's just such a fucking zero. And I like Tony Hawk a lot. I'm sure you could sit it down with a beer with that guy and he'd be like, yeah, I'm boring.
It'd be great. Yeah, it would be great.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all right, I guess. Yeah,
I met this guy Anthony tonight.
Yeah, I'm trying to work through all of it. Like, Bam Margera is super fucked up.
Yep.
Pretty much all the CKY crew guys are like fucked up. Yeah. Oh no, the injuries are bad.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, there was that whole the Tosh Pappas, the Pappas brothers, who are this Australian crew. Two brothers out of Australia. One ended up in jail, and the other one addicted to drugs, I think, who were competing with Tony Hawk at the same time. And they were bad boys, and they were real bad boys because they were fucking smoking blunts and getting fucked up and shit, and then still coming out and competing in the X Games and winning sometimes. But the X Games, Vans, all those companies didn't want them as the face of their thing because they're like, people already think we're shitty. We need a nice smiley face to market this shit to actually make it mainstream, and Tony Hawk was the dude.
But what's even funny is like Vans doesn't even really have any face to it. They just basically get models and have them stand near a staircase in North Hollywood and then take a photo of the sun, and then there you go.
Yeah. And I'm a big fan. Follow vans.com.
Oh my God. I don't think I've worn a different company's shoes in 6 or 7 years at this point.
So I've tried the only ones in probably 6 years I've tried are the Adidas Sambas, and I went back to Vans.
I love them. I got a pair of pink Converse. Besides that, I have black pair, white pair, gray pair. Boom. There. That's all you fucking need for everything.
And slip-ons, you got a nice slip-on. That's the ultimate travel shoe.
Of course. Of course. Yeah. Gray slip-ons.
Oh, yeah. If anybody's going to fly or whatever, you just, the day of travel, wear Vans slip-ons. It'll save your life.
Yeah. I mean, I try and just because fuck you, this whole TSA bullshit, I just wear flip-flops.
Okay. Yeah. You can be gross. That's fine.
Yeah. Like I know it's gross, but I'm just like, I'm 100% aware it's gross, but I'm just like, fuck all of you. I do this more than you. Like,
here's the only way it's gross is if you put your feet on shit on the plane. That is fucking disgusting.
I sit there and I don't fit on a plane. I'm 6'4" and I'm wide. Like I can't, because someone said that to me. They're like, "Oh, you're going to put your foot everywhere." And I'm like, I don't fit in the fucking seat. Like my feet aren't going anywhere.
You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. Some people putting their foot up on an armrest behind you, and you're like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Oh, it's because people are scum.
And if we've learned anything tonight, it is that people
a bunch of monsters
are amazing and scum.
Yeah, they are. Some people are great, and most are gross fucks.
John, where can people find you?
Find me on Twitch. That is twitch.tv.
Yeah, this Thursday, 11/12. He's going live on Twitch.
Yeah, there's 11/12. Maybe I should do for 11/12. I'm going to go 11 or 12 hours. Should I do that? Is that the funnier way to do that?
See what you can push. Yeah, if you go 12 hours.
I did 18 hours over election day, which was I'm going to tell you, I regret it. It was rough, but
why not kick it 12? Yeah.
Yeah. 11 or 12
probably seems easy. That's like a 5K.
There was a lot of help. A lot of people called in and stuff like that. And I started it with 2 other friends, but it's just one of those things where because of coronavirus and like the show that I did that you run is one of the few shows going.
Yeah. It's pretty much right now, I'd say there's like maybe 4 nights a week. There's a real show happening. And then there's a bunch of these whack open mics, which I'm doing all the time, but they're all just in parks and, talking out to random strangers. But we try to run a real show, and there's a few other people running real shows, and there's a few of those going on around here.
Yeah, let's talk off mic because I'm trying to find those real shows because they keep popping up and then the city shuts them down.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is
But yeah, you're on Twitch.
I'm on Twitch, and I'm also on social media, all at the John Hastings. All my social media is the John Hastings, except for Twitch, which is John Hastings Comedy, because I was like, oh, I should put comedy in the title.
Boom. I don't know. I would reconsider that. Take
Putting
comedy out.
in,
Yeah, just be you.
I mean, yeah, I really have. Even in my comedy, I've taken a lot of the comedy out. Just words
All right.
now.
I'll stop the recording now. Thank you for doing it, John. And